Welcome back to the Deep Dig of Sports Pod. I'm your host, Drew. My other host, right over there.
What's up? It's D. Good to see you again. Be sure to hit that like button, drop some comments below, let us know your thoughts, and subscribe.
Please subscribe. We're almost to 500. Uh,
Please.
but we're talking playoff football here. We have the Bills versus the Broncos. I know I was hyping up Bo Nix and this Broncos team. Didn't turn out so great, but what were some of your main takeaways from this Bills Broncos game?
I think realistically with this, it is going to be a crazy game next week between the Bills and the Ravens. The Bills looked lights out. They looked like they performed at not even 100%. It's like they gave their A performance from 90 to 100. Like they just looked like they were kind of churning. They weren't really too worried about what the Broncos were doing. They stuck to their game plan, and eventually the game just kind of busted wide open, like it was Joy Taylor. But
Too soon. Too soon.
but they stuck to their plan, and it ended up the game just after a while they were just too much. Just one mistake was just too much for them, and they just kind of piled on from there. On the other hand, the Broncos, they had a really good season. You can really build off of that, but you're just not there yet.
Yeah, the Bills went crazy on offense, and they really looked unstoppable. But the Broncos, they got to feel good about this season. They got their quarterback. I think their defense is solid despite how bad they looked against the Bills. They just kind of look shook. Like the receivers were dropping some passes early. The defense, once they kind of got scored on, it was just piling on and on. I didn't think Bo Nix really looked like terrible. I thought they just looked like an overpowered, out talented team at this point compared to this Bills team that is just, they're churning, they're hitting on every cylinder right now. And I think the game plan that really worked for them, where we thought it was going to be Josh Allen hero ball nonstop, they ran the ball and they committed to running the ball with James Cook, and even Ty Johnson had 44 yards. So that's what I think made the difference for the Bills, that got everything going really easy. If it was going to be like Josh Allen throw the ball 50 times and see, let's outduel Bo Nix, like I think that would have favored the Broncos a little bit better than how they did. They still would have probably lost by a lot, but I think the game plan of like, let's just run the ball, let's keep the ball in our possession and let's break their will kind of a game plan worked out perfectly for the Bills. And I do want them to, as they go against this Ravens team, keep that mentality. Let's run the ball. Let's not make Josh Allen win every single play.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I 100%. I love their usage of James Cook in this game. I thought that it was the perfect amount. Like typically we're just kind of wanting a little bit more, and it's not even from James Cook himself. It's from the scheme of the offense. Like, hey, give him a little more touches, give him a little bit more. But they used him perfectly, and I thought they really used the run game of Josh Allen perfectly, kind of in spurts here and there. But it was very effective, and moving forward, you're 100% right. I think they should kind of keep this balanced attack because it really does open up things for Josh as they move forward. Don't get into the okay, like we're gonna throw it 50 times. We can dial it back, like just like we said previously about the Ravens, where it's like if we keep that balanced attack, it's just gonna help out. It's gonna help them a ton, and we know that Josh Allen has the big arm. He can make every throw. He can do it from every arm slot. But it's like I know we're not pacing ourselves because we're already kind of there, but like realistically, if you have that balanced attack, it is going to help out your defense a ton because the more clock that you're eating, the less time that they're going to be on the field. And for Josh himself, I think like the more that you limit these receivers that haven't proven themselves from making mistakes, you can kind of mitigate that risk. The more if you're throwing it 50 times, there is more of a chance of like what you've seen with the San Diego Chargers and their receiving core where they dropped
San
balls.
Diego.
Oh, the Los Angeles Chargers and their receiving core where they dropped balls and it like tipped passes and that leads to interceptions.
Yeah, and I just want to touch on the Broncos this season. Like, I really didn't know if the Sean Payton thing was going to work. I didn't believe in Bo Nix coming into this. They have to feel really good and way ahead of schedule with the season they just had. especially in a tough division. Like 3 teams from that division made the playoffs. And I mean, I think you count next year, like the Raiders are going to be terrible. We know that they're going to be bad, but the Chiefs are going to always be good. The Chargers are going to be significantly better if they decide to sign some receivers. The Broncos, I think, keep building out their receiving core. Marvin Mims is looking good, but I think he made the Pro Bowl All Pro as a returner or something. Uh, the defense, let's keep adding pieces to that with Patrick Surtain back there. They have like a really good building block to get this roster to be competitive with the Chargers of the world, with these other playoff teams. I don't know if they can get to that Mahomes competitive level in this next year, maybe in 2 years, but they're going to be definitely, I think, a playoff team next year.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to be a little bit disappointed if you're a Broncos fan because this defense just underachieved. And I know realistically that's not how like these things work in the NFL. You have to earn your stripes. You have to get there. You have to get disappointed. And then you go back to the drawing board and you really kind of figure things out. And this is just kind of the step they had to take. But one thing that you could have like rested your hat on was the fact that this defense was lights out pretty much the entire year. And then you go into this game and you're like, okay, we're going to at least keep it a close game. And it doesn't look like it's the same team on the field. Josh Allen and this Bills team just kind of did what they wanted, especially in the second half. And you feel a little bit disappointed at that, obviously.